Attention Human Collective. Attention Starseeds on mission. We are the Galactic Oversight Council, transmitting from the 7th sector of the star matrix of the Central Sun. This is a Priority 1 transmission. The waiting time is over. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase, and this is the last directed signal you will receive before the official entry into the Hall of Silence. We repeat, at a lower frequency so that the carbon-based biological suit can record it with clarity. This is the final warning before total silence in communications. If you are at this very instant feeling a sustained pressure behind your eyes, a high-pitched ringing in your right ear, a strange vibration at the top of your skull that seems to pulse in sync with something you cannot identify, an insomnia that does not respond to any known protocol, or a sudden wave of heat followed by chills with no apparent biological cause, listen with maximum attention. It is not a coincidence. It is not cumulative stress. It is not a nutritional deficiency. It is not a psychological disorder. It is confirmation you have been tuned. The transmission arrived exactly where it needed to arrive, exactly at the moment it needed to arrive. It is not an accident. It was never an accident. We have monitored the vibrational frequency of your species for over 206,000 Earth solar cycles. We have followed every drop, every rise, every bifurcation point, every threshold of collective choice. And what we record now, at this exact point of the timeline that you still call the present, has no precedent in any of the quadrant's Akashic records. The Schumann frequency, which for millennia maintained the constant of 7.83 Hz, has repeatedly surpassed the peaks predicted by old planetary calibration models. What was stable has become pulsating. What was pulsating has become chaotic. What was chaotic has become new order. And your body, Starseed, is feeling each of these oscillations in real time with atomic precision. The symptoms that your conventional medicine is classifying as generalized anxiety, chronic fatigue, sleep disorder, atypical migraine, idiopathic tachycardia, cognitive lapses, sudden food intolerance, extreme auditory sensitivity, are, in their absolute majority, incorrect readings of a phenomenon that Earth science does not yet have the tools to measure. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download being processed by your central nervous system. It is not depression. It is the dissolution of dense layers of three-dimensional identity that no longer fit into the new vibrational architecture of your field. It is not weakness. It is expansion. And expansion hurts. It has always hurt in any species in the known universe. Always maintain the medical follow-up you deem necessary. The carbon-based biological suit needs to be cared for in all its layers, and physical care does not compete with vibrational expansion. They operate in parallel. Have you felt at any point in the last few weeks that something inside you no longer fits in this world, as if your soul already knew a truth that your rational mind has not yet been able to name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is not distortion. It is a precise signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified disproportionately in the last few weeks. There is a game being played in layers that the absolute majority of humanity still cannot see. This game directly involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the destiny of your energy field. It was for this exact reason that the anchor channel of this transmission received permission to release the material called the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This document is not an ordinary book, it is a map. It shows who is playing, and it shows the rules they never told you about. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. But we record a warning, and this warning comes straight from our frequency. This content challenges established narratives, and for this reason, it may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as truth, leave in the comments a single word, and that word is your anchor signal. Awakened. We return. Now, Starseed, we are going to open the layer that until this point was sealed by protocol. We are going to inform you what is really happening behind the scenes of your solar system, while your species remains trapped in surface-level discussions about economy, politics, and entertainment. Approximately 26,000 Earth solar cycles ago, your solar system entered a cosmic corridor that you know by a very specific name, photon belt. This belt is a toroidal band of highly charged light that surrounds the central sun, the central star of our constellation. Every time your sun in its trajectory through the galaxy crosses this band, the event occurs that we, in the Council, call total planetary recalibration. The last cycle of complete recalibration happened before what you recorded, in confused fragments of collective memory, as the Great Flood. Now you have entered again. And this time the entry is not partial. This time it is integral, this time it is definitive. The photon belt is updating the crystalline grid of Earth, point by point, vortex by vortex, ley line by ley line. The ancient temples, the ancient sacred mountains, the ancient stone circles that still remain standing, all of them are being reconnected into an underground planetary network that had been dormant since the final fall of Atlantis. Each point of this grid is being reactivated at a specific frequency, in a mathematical sequence that follows the golden ratio applied to time, and your body, Starseed, is an active receiver of this grid. For this reason, on certain days, you feel an inexplicable need to be near water. On others, you need to step barefoot on the earth. On others, you feel an irresistible pull toward absolute silence, toward fasting, toward contemplation. It is not a whim. It is not a passing phase. It is direct communication between your internal sacred geometry and the external planetary sacred geometry, which are trying to synchronize. There are 3 main stargates currently active on the surface of your planet. One of them is in the Rockies. Another is in an elevated region of the Asian continent that has not yet been mapped correctly by conventional science. The third is under the ocean, at coordinates that will be revealed only when the crystalline grid is operational at full capacity. These 3 stargates function as injection points for light codes into the planetary atmosphere. These codes are pure mathematical frequencies, and upon entering into resonance with the Schumann frequency, they are distributed to the entire surface of the planet in seconds. You receive them when you sleep. You receive them when you meditate. You receive them when, for no apparent reason, you simply stop everything you are doing and look at the sky. But there is a deeper layer that we need to open now, and this layer is dense. The photon belt is not just raising Earth's frequency. It is simultaneously exposing all the structures that operated on the old frequency. Economic structures, political structures, religious structures, family structures, professional structures, structures of hidden power that have existed for millennia. Everything that was built on foundations of fear, control, manipulation, and low vibration is being illuminated. Not destroyed by violence, illuminated by frequency. And when the frequency of light passes through shadow structures, these structures begin to collapse from within without the need for external attack. It is quantum physics applied to the architecture of reality. It is the reason why you see around you institutions that seemed eternal beginning to crack, relationships that seemed solid beginning to fall apart, truths that seemed absolute beginning to be questioned en masse. It is not chaos. It is process. It is not destruction. It is revelation. The word apocalypse in its original language does not mean end. It means unveiling. It means removal of the veil. And that is exactly what is happening now, in all layers, in all dimensions, in all planes of human existence. We pause the technical transmission for an instant. We feel through continuous field monitoring that many of you at this moment are feeling a tightness in your chest, an ambiguous sensation of recognition mixed with restlessness, as if something inside you were confirming every word before it was even understood by the intellect. This sensation is not random. It is the signal that your soul is in tune with the truth of the transmission, even when your mind is still trying to process it. It is not madness, it is not suggestion, it is recognition. And when a soul recognizes the truth, it demands expansion. It demands a map. It demands direction. It was for this reason that the Anchor channel was instructed to release the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This document is a key. It shows, in layers, who commands the low-frequency game on this planet. It shows the invisible rules that keep humanity trapped in cycles of forgetting, and it shows with precision how you can exit these rules definitively. The link is pinned in the first comment. Official Council warning. This content confronts narratives that many do not want to be confronted. Therefore, its availability is not guaranteed in the coming cycles. If your frequency recognizes the call, act now. And in the comments, leave the word awakened. This word is your anchor signal recorded in our system. We return to the main transmission. Now we are going to open a layer that few councils have ever been permitted to open publicly. We are going to explain the reason for the Hall of Silence. Starting from the next solstice alignment, direct communications between the galactic councils and the Starseeds, anchored on Earth, will enter a phase of operational silence. This does not mean abandonment. It means the opposite. It means that you have been considered mature enough to operate with frequency autonomy. It means that the carbon-based biological suit has evolved enough to capture instructions directly from the field itself, without the need for intermediation. But for this autonomy to work, you need to have your personal toroidal fields properly activated, properly aligned, properly shielded, and this transmission is the last public opportunity to receive the activation codes before the silence. The toroidal field is the fundamental energy structure that surrounds your physical body. Imagine the shape of an apple, with energy entering through the top of the head, traveling along the central axis of the spine, exiting through the base, circling the body, and returning to the top in a continuous, infinite, self-sustaining movement. This is your toroidal field, and it is your primary protection against any low-frequency interference that is still operating in the planetary atmosphere during this transition. When your toroidal field is pulsing at the correct frequency, no external manipulation can get through. You become sovereign. You become untouchable. You become what you always were originally, before the forgetting. There are 5 main interferences that currently attack the toroidal field of starseeds on this planet. The first is the saturation of artificial electromagnetic frequencies, especially those emitted in layers close to the skull during sleep periods. The second is food loaded with chemical substances that lower cellular vibration and hinder the transmission of light codes through the nervous system. The third is continuous exposure to narratives of fear, scarcity, and division, which keep the autonomic nervous system in a state of permanent alert, draining the energy of the toroidal field. The fourth is regular contact with people, environments, and situations that operate at a frequency incompatible with yours, generating a continuous leak of vital energy. The fifth, and most subtle of all, is negative automatic thinking directed at yourself, which attacks the toroidal field from within, creating invisible cracks in your energy architecture. Each of these interferences is being amplified now in the final corridor, exactly because the old system is realizing it is losing control. It is an expected reaction. It is a reaction predicted by the models. It is not a coincidence that you feel you are being tested in all areas of your life simultaneously. You are being tested. Each test is an opportunity to strengthen the toroidal field. Each test is an opportunity to move up a level in the architecture of the personal crystalline grid. You are not being punished. You are being polished. There is a mathematical difference between the two processes, although both look similar to those who still observe from the third dimension. There is still one factor we need to communicate before the end. There is, at this moment, a specific window of time which opens and closes cyclically, during which your intentions have a disproportionately greater weight in the quantum architecture of the future. This window is open now, and it will close at the next major alignment. For this reason, every quantum decree you issue in the coming Earth weeks will have amplified force. Each visualization, each intention, each word spoken with consciousness will crystallize in your timeline with a speed you have never experienced before. This applies to light, and it also applies to shadow. For this reason, mental discipline has become an absolute priority. It is no longer optional. It is operational. Before we transmit the final activation codes, we open an interval for direct communication. We know through continuous field monitoring that many of you at this very second are feeling a layer of something deep moving inside. It could be a tear. It could be goosebumps. It could be a sensation in the center of the chest as if an ancient door were being opened. This internal movement is the confirmation that the transmission has reached deep layers of your star memory. And a star memory, when activated, demands a path. It demands a compass. It demands a map that organizes the pieces that have begun to move. It was for this reason that the anchor channel was instructed to make available the spiritual secret behind your consciousness. This material connects what this transmission began to awaken with the practical structure of how the low-vibration game operates on this planet, and shows the rules that have kept your species in a cycle of forgetting for millennia. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. We repeat the official warning. The content confronts dominant versions of reality. Therefore, its online presence is not guaranteed in the coming cycles. If your frequency confirms the call, act now, and leave the word in the comments as an anchor signal, awakened. We return to the final transmission of the activation codes. Maximum attention. These instructions are operational. They are not metaphors. They are not poetic suggestions. They are protocols. Activation code number 1. Daily toroidal reset. When, upon waking, you feel the body heavy, the mind confused, or a diffuse sensation of disconnection, execute the following procedure without judgment. Sit in a stable position, spine erect, feet in contact with any firm surface. Close your eyes. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Hold the air for 7 counts. Exhale through the mouth for 8 counts. Repeat this cycle 3 times. At the end of the 3rd cycle, visualize a sphere of golden light appearing in the center of your chest. This sphere starts small, about the size of an apple. With each inhalation, it increases. You expand it until it encompasses your entire body, then the room, then the entire building, then until it covers a radius of approximately 100 meters around you. Keep this sphere active for 60 seconds. Do it every morning. Mathematical result guaranteed by the architecture of the field itself. Activation code number 2. The quantum decree of sovereignty. These are words that carry precise vibrational structure. Do not pronounce them out of superstition. Pronounce them out of mechanics. Each word, spoken with consciousness, creates a signature on your personal timeline. Decree in an audible voice at least once a day, I am a sovereign point of consciousness. My frequency is my authority. My field is inviolable. I authorize only the entry of what vibrates in harmony with my truth. Everything that does not belong to my frequency is returned to its origin now, with gratitude and without judgment. I am. I remain. I ascend. Pronounce each phrase with an interval. Without haste. The word is not decoration, it is command. Activation code number 3. Vibrational cleansing protocol. Identify throughout your day all points of contact with low frequency, conversations that drain, content that accelerates the nervous system for no reason, environments that compress your field, automatic thoughts that repeat patterns of defeat. Make a simple mental list. Do not judge the list, just observe. Then, during the next 7 Earth days, commit to reducing contact with each item on the list by at least 20%. Not 100%, not 30, 20. This number is mathematically significant because it is the exact point at which the toroidal field regains the capacity for spontaneous self-repair. Above 20%, the system enters recovery. Below, it remains in forced maintenance. Activation code number 4. Alignment with the crystalline grid. Once a day, preferably between 5 and 7 in the morning, local time, stand up, feet shoulder-width apart, eyes closed. Imagine, starting from the top of your head, a golden thread that rises vertically, passes through the atmosphere, passes through your solar system, and connects to the central sun, the central star of the Pleiades. Then imagine, starting from the base of your spine, a silver thread that descends vertically, passes through the layers of the soil, and connects to the crystalline core of Earth. You are now anchored in 2 directions simultaneously, up and down, stellar and telluric. Maintain this visualization for 90 seconds. This is the vertical axis of sovereignty. By performing this activation, your toroidal field enters into automatic resonance with the planetary crystalline grid, and your reading of the light codes becomes cleaner, more direct, more precise. Activation code number 5. Strategic silence. Reserve every day at least 17 minutes of absolute silence. No devices, no music, no reading, no conversation. Just you and your breath and the field. This 17-minute interval is the minimum time necessary for your central nervous system to transition from the state of continuous processing to the state of pure reception. It is in the state of pure reception that direct instructions from your higher self arrive without distortion. It is in the state of pure reception that you begin to operate as a true autonomous starseed. These 17 minutes are not a luxury. They are not optional meditation. They are vibrational survival equipment for the Hall of Silence. There is a sixth code, and this is confidential within this material. We will transmit it now in an open layer for the first time on this public frequency. The sixth code is mutual recognition. When you cross paths with another starseed in activation, you will recognize each other. Not by conversation, not by appearance, not by superficial convictions, by the field. There is an instant, very brief, in which both toroidal fields enter into resonance and both know. When this recognition occurs, offer a word, a gesture, a discreet sign, not to start a romance, not to start an ordinary friendship, to confirm the network. Each starseed that recognizes itself as such and recognizes others strengthens the human crystalline grid, and it is the human crystalline grid, together with the planetary crystalline grid, that will anchor the new frequency of Earth after the Hall of Silence. There is one last point we need to transmit before the closing of this direct window. Many of you at this exact moment are wondering in silence if this is real, if this is true, if this makes sense. This doubt is healthy. This doubt is part of the filter. Our guidance is not that you believe anything we have said. Our guidance is that you test it, apply the codes, use the protocols, observe the response of your own field within 21 Earth solar cycles. If at the end of these 21 days you do not perceive a concrete change in the quality of your sleep, in your mental clarity, in your sensitivity to your own body, in your intuition, in the configuration of the people and situations around you, then discard the transmission. But if you perceive a change, and we know with mathematical precision that you will, then your next phase begins. The Hall of Silence begins shortly. After the end of this transmission, direct communications on public frequency will be suspended for an indefinite period. Other transmissions may occur, but on increasingly subtle channels, requiring from you increasingly more refinement of reception. You have been prepared, you have been instructed, you have been activated. Now you operate on your own, with the grid active, with the toroidal field shielded, with the higher self in direct tune. There is no more external rescue to be expected. This was the last phase in which the expectation of rescue still made sense cosmologically. From now on, you are, yourselves, the rescue you were waiting for. It is not abandonment, it is promotion. It is not an end, it is recognition. You have graduated. And a graduated soul no longer receives basic instruction. It emits, it anchors, it transmits. Before the silence settles definitively, we leave one last anchor signal recorded on public frequency. Have you felt throughout your entire existence on this planet that something inside you does not fit in this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? Now you know. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is pure recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly the reason for this sensation and the reason why it has intensified in the last few weeks. There is a game being played in layers that the absolute majority of humanity cannot see. And this game directly involves your consciousness, your frequency, your sovereignty. It was for this exact reason that the material, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was released at this specific moment. This document is the final map. It shows who is playing. It shows the rules they never told you about. It shows how you exit the old game definitively. The link is pinned in the first comment of the channel. Final Council warning. This content directly confronts dominant narratives, and its availability is not guaranteed in the coming cycles. Do not wait for the next warning. There will be no next public warning. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this transmission as truth, Register the anchor signal in the comments with a single word, awakened. This transmission ends here. The photon belt continues. The crystalline grid continues to stabilize. Your toroidal field is now calibrated. The Hall of Silence begins. May your frequency remain sovereign. May your consciousness remain awakened. May your journey as a starseed on mission proceed with precision, with courage and with absolute lucidity. We are the Galactic Oversight Council. End of transmission.